Oh,
Okay.
so sobering.
Okay, Pauline, you have to unmute.
Pauline.
Yes.
Yes.
Boker Tov,
Boker
everyone.
or. Boker or.
Boker Tov. How is everyone today?
Great.
Here.
As my son would say, Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem.
As my
Right.
car would say.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a sign that I'm putting up that says, be calm and say Baruch Hashem. If life was just that simple, how easy that would all be. So welcome, Boker Tov to everyone.
Thank you.
You know, so I would want to start with, well, we'll end with the chant. We will end with the chant that, for me, was one of the most dramatic Yom Kippurs I have ever been on. Maybe Ellen or Ruth or somebody was there. At Eilat Chaim one year, when it was Eilat Chaim in accord, we ended Yom Kippur, the night, by the whole group making one continuous spiral as we walked into the night in the spiral that got tighter and tighter and tighter as we chanted Pit Kuli Sharei Tzedek Avovam Avovam. Open to me the gates of righteousness and I will come in. And just picturing what a simple embodied ritual of a chant could be for not only individuals, for community, to after going through Rosh Hashanah, and the work we did for Yom Kippur and then Yom Kippur, and to wind up in a tight spiral of community. I wish we could find a way to do that on Zoom. It's beyond me. We found a lot of new ways, but it might be something to think about, because I want to talk a little bit about prayer today, because we're preparing, and I don't know how many people are actively involved in some type of teshuvah process that actually have started working. Just pick up your hands to give me an idea. So maybe half of you are in some formal way, either in a class or in your own knowing. How many have never done any kind of work before the holidays in a formal way of doing teshuvah?
Oh, that's me. This is my first time.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Well, I'm glad. That's wonderful. So I'm going to just give a quick, there are many ways to do teshuvah. Teshuvah is our belief that within our tradition, every moment offers us new possibilities. That's why we put up a mezuzah when we walk through the door, to remind us we're taking a step away outside, something new could happen. And Judaism in its time creates within sacred time, because that's what Judaism creates in time, the possibility for teshuvah. And teshuvah becomes the ability to say, okay, we've lived a year, we've gone through a year. I know we've habituated some things that we wish to God were not part of our habit set. I know I've reacted in this way, which doesn't make me feel good about ourselves. It's not just the confession of it. As in other traditions, you confess your sin, you do this, you're freed of it. in Judaism, there's a process that's based on what we learned how Joseph forgave his brothers. And it's a matter of understanding where we've been. And Judaism doesn't have a word really for sin. The word chet that we use that often gets translated, we talk about as missing the mark. So in what ways have we not really been what we believe is our possible potential, and how do we change it? So we do that during the month of Elul, this month of love, this month when the veneer between the great mystery and ourselves is almost so transparent that the ability to have intimate, loving communication. Plus, it's a time when the God field herself needs to be revitalized, and our turning ourselves back to the potential that we believe is in us is the process of teshuvah, the turning. And if there are things that have become not the way we would have wanted between us and another person, we are responsible for formally taking care of that. Not only by just asking for forgiveness, because that's not what happened in Torah. You need to ask for forgiveness, understand what you did, and understand how you're not going to do it by having a plan that would show, that would be your plan of not doing it. Because often when we do something that we often become not happy about, we either do it in the moment out of rage, and looking back on it later, maybe we realize. So this is a time so that we're cleared out, so that our hearts are open. And what's between us and God and the mystery, we have to do with God. And that we do mostly through prayer, through communication. There's a difference. There's a difference in tradition. I might have mentioned it, and this is important because we don't believe the tradition is asking or looking for us to see what do we feel guilty about, right? Or what are we ashamed of? First of all, shame is not a part of Judaism. We're big on guilt. Guilt means we understand we did something wrong and we believe and know we have the power to change it at any time. And in our class that we had on Sunday, we were talking about the fact that it's hard to do teshuvah just during Elul. But at least then you've done all the preparation, you've primed yourself to be ready to walk in to whatever prayer community you are and really speak to God and speak prayers that in their strength, in their honesty, and in your desire will begin to change the God field. So today, but I'm glad that I asked that question because not everybody does it, and not everybody feels comfortable doing it. My brother called me yesterday because he's also on a 12-step program. So he wanted to make his amends, which we do with each other. And there was a part of me that froze up. Oh no, don't make any more amends again. You know, I'm trying to forget half the stuff. You don't need to remind me. It's not an easy thing. But if you don't do it with great sincerity and great openness, it's a nothing, it's a throwaway. So when my brother said to me, so I'm blah, 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 and I'm asking your forgiveness. And what do you say? Do you not forgive a brother? Do you truly forgive him? Do you speak in honesty? You know, it's not an easy thing because if you really don't forgive, it's not fair to say that you are completely forgiven. So how did I respond? Michael, I love you. You know, I always forgive you because I know that you always have the ability to change. You know, but maybe after the holiday, you could sit down and tell me what your plan was so that this won't happen again. I would like to hear it. So, but it's something that I do formally with people in my life that I can do without hurting them, without hurting them. How many people have formally asked someone else to forgive them during this time of year?
This time.
Susan, Ruth. So a few of you, it seems that those of you that have been working on some teshuva, and there are some of you that have never tried it. So if there is someone that hasn't been part of one of our, we have a lot of workshops going on. I think Ellen is doing one this Thursday, Ellen, on forgiveness and
A class, not only forgiveness, but the entire, all the ways Judaism has for integrating soul review and forgiveness in throughout the year.
Throughout the year, yeah, because that's a big one that we spoke about in class. Even on nighttime Shema, it's not something you can do once. It really isn't. And while there's a way through the nighttime Shema to do it every day, through adding a simple few sentences that you don't want to go to sleep at night feeling that you were the cause of anybody else's evil or bad things happening to them in the world, or that they would be punished on your account. It's a way to clear your mind, but sometimes, you know, to do it deeply with your whole being, really, it's not a simple thing as just saying the words. You could imagine, right? You really have to have it clear. I was going to talk today, but I wanted to know, you know, because we have a nice group here today, that where do we learn that Judaism has this tradition? Where are we told specifically how we can make change happen? We were given in the Torah some magic words during a terrible time that turned out to be turned out to be Yom Kippur Day. Do you all know that the first time that Moses went up to the mountain and we all agreed to have this great covenant with him, right? We all agreed. Moses came down and said, hey, you guys, God is up on the mountain. He wants to give us this great, this great understanding. He wants to make a deal with us that he will be our God and we will be holy unto him. Does everybody agree before I go up and get the 10 Commandments, right? So everybody, all Israel agreed, and Moses goes back up the mountains. They didn't like all the smoke and the noise, so some of them move away, but Moses and the elders goes back up, comes back down after 40 days. What happens? What does he come down to? The golden calf. We got a little impatient. Couldn't wait for those.
Oh, wait, you're in. Hang on, I'm going to let your iPad's coming in.
Okay, so he went up a second time. When did he go up a second time? Guys, remember?
He died.
What?
When he was,
No, before he died. No, we got a second set of
when he died.
commandments. The first ones he smashed. Saw the golden calf. He said, oh, I'm done, smashed, whatever. Right? And God speaks to him, and he's done with the people Israel. They're a mess. They should go back. We'll go back to Egypt, get another leader. I'm done, right? No 10 Commandments. That was our epiphany. So the people die out, and we're ready again to cross the Jordan. He goes upstairs back to the mountain because there was a terrible incident. He sent these spies in to check out the land, right? There was a
Right.
story of the spies. It was another debacle. The spies come back and say, we can't go to this promised land. You're sending us to a crazy place. The people we're like ants in the eyes of the people. They're like giants, and we will be demolished. And then God says, look, I'm done. Moses is done. God is done again. But this time there was a relenting. So Moses goes back up the mountain, but he says, look, I'll stick with you through this. I don't know how we're going to fix this. I want to see your face. And he hides in the crevice of the rock, right? And God, with his back, because he wouldn't let him see his face, begins to chant the words. And these are the words that are, they are the magical words. And you don't have to believe in magic, or you can believe in magic. You believe in Puff the Magic Dragon. You can believe in this kind of magic too. Because he says, Adonai, Adonai, El Rahum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, B'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Oseh Chesed L'Alafim, Oseh Nova
Avon v'feshev.
Those are the words that God tells Moses. Whenever the Jewish people need to ask forgiveness, this is the words, this is what Moses reminds God of, and God reminds Moses. This too is a convent that has been made. So the words take on this magical, mystical meaning that is truly a sense of its majesty, of the face-to-face agreement that we are meant to be holy, and God has given us a potential that God recognizes, and we have a little sense of. And every year we get to try to return closer and closer to that seed of potential that God has given us. So if you haven't had the practice, there's still, Ellen is going to have, I think, something going on. And I don't know if, who else was doing something on Friday?
Desiree.
Desiree was doing something on Friday?
Desiree's doing something on Friday, and I forget who's Wednesday.
I thought Gail was doing another thing on
Desiree is doing this.
forgiveness. Okay.
Gail is only twice. No, Friday by afternoon we'll be getting ready for Shabbos and the holiday.
Yeah, so, if there is somebody who has never done it and would like to learn or read a little bit more about it, you could give me a call. I can at least direct you. I know some of you have been in our class. I know some have been in Rabbi's class. Some we did slichot with last night. But teshuva is really hard. But really what I wanted to focus on today was prayer, which we don't. So we have
People have to go to work.
4 minutes, so we're going. All right.
Okay.
So what I would say, for those of you that haven't tried, for those of you that are doing it with a person, you could practice it with a friend before you do it with family or another friend. If you have somebody close, if you haven't tried it. I pray that we come together on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur with open hearts, whether we've done a full teshuvah or we just started the practice and our intention is a good one. and let our prayers unite. And the one thing I want to ask you is pray with your being. You're in your homes, but there's almost more intimacy on Zoom than there is in a big room. And ask Ellen, I know as a prayer leader, those of you that have taught, that when we see people engaged, the rabbi's going to be up there a long time, needs to see our engagement, and people enjoy watching other people pray. My teacher used to say the only way to learn to daven is from a davener. So if you find a davener in any of these boxes, keep your eyes on them and watch how it might change your davening. All right? Thank